You're just talking about 15 to 20% of the population
Right.
has a
Yes.
disability.
Yeah.
Right. I think, I mean, that's, whether or not you beat yourself up is your choice, but I think, you know, even those of us who are perfect in this, I can't tell you the number of times that my own organization in the 20 whatever years I've been there, as well as other disability organizations that I work with, have forgotten things like a ramp to a stage, interpreters for a function that we have to cancel. So it happens all the time, but there is a solution to that. And I think that I speak to both businesses and consumers when I say, and it's a term of art, but it's called universal design. And that really works. And that's not just for people who use wheelchairs. That means sort of making everything more accessible. And I think of it in terms of starting way back when I first realized, even though I had an artificial arm at the time, I couldn't buy 2 ice cream cones if they didn't have those trays that you use too. That's, you know, the basis of universal design. But stepping up on here for a pregnant woman or an older person, doing stairs for a woman with a stroller or a man with a stroller, if we move toward making everything kind of different, and that term's called universal design, which basically means an accessible world. And some cities are doing that. And of course, that's the movement is really beginning in California and even more so in Florida now. And that's because of elder populations where hotels have wheel-in swimming pools and much better for all of us.
Are there statutes that can be enacted to help this along?
There are, but I think that's not something that's an attitude change, and I don't think you can legislate attitudes, and I don't think we want to, because that just makes people mad. We saw what happened with the ADA Amendments Act before the ADA Restoration Act, and how just it brought out every hotel owner in anger, saying, you know, why do we have to spend all this money to make our stuff accessible? So it's a matter of educating and a matter of moving forward, and like Denis said, it's a matter of letting people know that we're here and we're not to be scared of, and we're not some lazy welfare fraud, you know, group of individuals, which is a large part of the stereotype about people with disabilities.
Yeah. And there are many things that we can offer the community. When we work with businesses, rather than shaking the law at them and say, you need to do this, we try to point out to them that with 1 in 5 people having a disability, that's a lot of buying power. And if they're missing out on 20% of the population not coming into their business because they're not accessible, they're missing out on success.
Right.
So we try to show them that it's to their advantage to be inclusive. And it's not that expensive most of the time. Certainly for some people it might be, but it doesn't have to be.
And when we shake the stick,
right.
and tell folks that, you know, the original ADA passed in 1990, you need to become accessible, more often, almost always, the place wants to do what's right. And so then the nice collaboration in Maine is we can then refer them to Alpha One, who can then send out an architect who can design whatever it is that they need to do.
And you can do that. You can advise people on
Absolutely.
with architectural help.
We can design, we can recommend, we can interpret the law for them on what they need to do, and give them a written recommendation on how to proceed with making their business accessible. And it doesn't have to all be done at once. As long as someone plans for it, they've got a plan in place, and they're going to roll that out over time depending on what the cost is going to be, then in good faith they've met their obligation, as long as they consider to continue to go forward with it.
Well, can you give just a few examples maybe of issues or situations you dealt with in the past year or so?
Well, I know it's not in the past year, but our architect actually went to every federal courthouse in the state and assessed them for their access. So, because until then, I could not have been a witness, or someone in a wheelchair, or other people could not have accessed some of these courthouses, nor could people even have been on trial necessarily, or served on a jury because of some of these things. So every courthouse in the state has now been assessed, has been given a written plan for compliance, and they're supposed to be working on it. Where they are with it, I can't answer the question.
My favorite one is I called Alpha One because the Disability Rights Center's parking lot, the grade in the parking lot was not accessible. And within our offices, so not for public, but for our own staff, we had 6 steps to get from one level to another, so we needed a lift. And I called Alpha One, and they came in and did a full assessment and designed an accessible parking lot, which now has been done by the owners of our property.
Yeah. One of the new bridge up the coast, I can't remember the name of it, but the one with the observation tower, Our architect helped them design that tower so it would be accessible to people with disabilities.
Right.
And that was all because Disability Rights Center threatened to sue the state.
Well,
So we work well together.
Kim and Ed, thank you very much. We're going to have to take a break now.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to discuss elder law.